Hello everyone, welcome to the session on media research and research methodology. Myself Dr. Anisha, faculty at NITTE Institute of Communication, NITTE deemed to be university. This session we are going to discuss on media research, and this is helpful for students of mass communication, especially when research plays an important role in their curriculum. Here, we are going to talk about media research as a focus. Media, their characteristics, the issues, the users, and the techniques involved in media. In this session, we are going to look at the growth of mass media research, the factors which led to the growth of mass media research, the difference between mass media research and social research. So, let's begin. So, when we look at media research, basically it is a study of social, psychological, and physical aspects and the effects of different mass media. For instance, how much time do you people spend watching a particular medium? Like whether it has an effect of bringing about change in the perspective of people? Does the use of a particular medium have any harmful effects? Whether these effects have because of the technology or the program content, what the media users want and expect to hear or read or see and experience. So if you see here we are discussing about a mass media, and maybe take example of a television, how much time people spend watching television, or if you take the recent, how much time people spend on social media. Maybe talk about the screen time, you talk about the usage of social media, how much you know then whether it brings any change in people's perspective about the world, perspective about their life, their lifestyle and their attitude. Does it bring any harmful effects, or does it, is it pro-social or anti-social, or does it technology, is it because there is a physical problem, is it because of the technology, or is it because of the content which the people watch, or does it no what basically the users want, what are they expecting from this medium? Like when you are when you take some medium, you watch something and your expectation also increases, next time you are expecting something else to watch. So basically we are looking at all this, that is what is mass media research or media research. So here, if you want to just summarize what I just said, mass media research includes a whole range of study about the development of media, the achievement and the effects. It includes the method used in collecting and analyzing information with regard to newspaper, magazines, radio, television, cinema, or any other mass media. And presently, we are also taking into consideration the new media. So, well, let's talk about users and users. So, media research also accumulates information about the users of mass media and also the users of the mass media. In this connection, we may ask how many people use a medium or use a various medium, whether it is used for information only or for entertainment, or whether people use it for both the purposes, or which category of people use which kind of media and why they use it, and how much, how many more, or why people use. Like for example, some people prefer to read newspapers, whereas if you look at youngsters, some of them prefer to access something online. Why is that people prefer a particular medium? Then also, what gratification do these media provide? Like a user of a medium or a media, what is the gratification one gets after using a particular medium or a media? So in this case, we are looking at the development of mass media research. So there are four phases in mass media researches. Like you talk about research, how did research evolved and how did mass media research evolved? So we are interested in this four phase. This is how the mass media has evolved. So phase one talks about the medium itself, like when a particular medium was introduced. We can talk about printing press, newspaper, radio, television, computer, or whatever. When something was introduced, the focus was made on what is the medium, what is newspaper, what are the characteristics of newspaper, what is the function of a newspaper, what does a newspaper do, how does it feel, what is it made up of, a lot of things. What is the technology involved in bringing out a newspaper or a magazine? That is the phase one. Phase two talks about users and who are the users of this medium. Like, what is the purpose of a newspaper? What is the purpose of television? What is the use of a television? What is the use of a radio? And also, who are the ones who are using this? Users of this medium. Maybe we can look at what are the characteristics of people who use this medium, what age group they belong to. We can look into a lot of things. Then phase 3, we talk about the effects of this medium. Here, maybe we are discussing that in detail. What are the effects of this medium? Like when you are consuming a particular medium, it will give you a lot of things. It can give you a lot of information, it can give you a lot of awareness, it can give you a lot of knowledge. Same time, you might also taking something which may not be good. It can be harmful, especially we look at kids who are watching a particular content which can be filled with violence. Maybe we find that a kid who is exposed to a violent content for a very long time may somewhere exhibit an aggressive behavior. Maybe unconsciously the kid is got influenced by the content he is watching. Similarly, there are a lot of effects of a particular medium you consume. So unconsciously or consciously, you tend to sometime, you know, exhibit in circumstances or situations. So phase 4, how this medium can be improved. When we look at both the positive and the negative, so maybe we want to improve the negative aspect. So we also look at how this medium which can be improved. So this is how phase 1, medium itself. Phase 2, users and the uses of media. Phase 3, the effects of this medium. Phase 4, how the medium can be improved. So phase 1, as I already told you, the research subject in the medium itself. What is it? How does it work? What is the technology does it involve? Who will have access to this new medium? How much does it cost? Like for example, if you are comparing newspaper and radio or a television, we feel newspaper is like, cheaper compared to television and newspaper, radio. Like a newspaper cost you 7 rupees, but whereas may not be everyone will be able to afford a television or a smartphone. So similar way we are looking at technology in this phase to study about the users and the users of the medium. How do people use a particular medium in real life? What is the reason for the usage? What purpose they use medium? Maybe some of them use for getting information. They want to know what is happening around the world. They want to be updated about the current affairs. Some might use just to pass time. They want some leisure and they just gratify themselves by watching something because they have a lot of time and they don't know what to do, so they use media. So what gratification does a new medium provide? So when you use a particular medium, what is that gratification one gets by consuming a particular medium? So phase 3 includes investigations of the social, psychological and physical effects of the medium. Like here we are looking at how does it pose a social, psychological or a physical effect. It can be positive or it can be negative. Like how much time people spend with the medium. Does it change people's perspective about anything? What do the users of the medium want and expect to hear? Or, you know, so here we look at, for example, they say that one of the reason for obesity in children is because they watch a lot of television. This the we have this television users. When you look at cultivation analysis theories, talks about heavy users and you know light users. Those who are heavy users are cultivate an attitude about the world, saying that world is a mean place to live in, because what they see on television all the time, they think they perceive the world as what they see on the television. So it has some kind of an attitudinal change among people. So I was talking about obesity, like you sit in front of a particular medium for a very long hour, you don't have any motor activities, so you're physically restricted yourself, your movements are restricted, so obesity can be one of the reasons. So you look at psychological, like attitudinal change, aggressive behavior. So there are a lot of things. People's perspective might change because they get might influenced by a particular content. So here we are looking at what people see and why they chose to see that, and how does it influence them? Does it influence them positively? Does it influence them negatively? All of this are in the phase 3. Phase 4, research is conducted to determine how the medium can be improved, what is the impact of it either in its use or through technological development. Like for example, can this medium provide information or entertainment to more than type of people? You're looking at, okay, we have a particular medium called television. Can it be used for educative purposes? Yes, then we have educational TV.
or newspaper, can it just have to sell only news? Does it can do any other purposes like informing people, benefiting the maybe the student section by giving them lot. If you see during the examination time, there are newspapers who devote 1 to 2 pages about some of the models questions, or there are a lot of study tutorials which is available in the newspaper, where I remember during my school, the 10th standard examination, they would devote 2 pages of some important aspects of the subjects where it is useful, and we would actually read those things, because other than reading, it was an extended reading for us to also look into the newspaper. Same way we find a lot of educational TV imparting education. So we are looking at how what can be done, how much new technology can be used perfectly to enhance the sight and sound of. We are also looking at how whether we can improve the quality of the program with when it comes to sound and video or anything, how it can give a better experience to people, or is there any way to change the content to be more valuable or entertaining. We are also looking at the content. Can the content be changed to make it more valuable or more ethical or more sensible, rather than giving a content which is very unproductive, doesn't have serve any purposes. So we are looking at phase 4, how this medium can be improved with technology, with content wise, or with other purpose wise. So next we look at the growth of mass media research. Here we identify 4 major events which has led to the growth of mass media research. The first is the World War I, which prompted a need to understand the nature of propaganda. So in this case, we are looking at the hypodermic needle theory of Lazar. If you look here, during the World War, a lot of the war propaganda was put out through the use of radio. A lot of radio content which came out during this time was more of war propaganda. So the media theorists were interested in understanding the content which came in radio. So they felt that media were shooting messages at the audience. Like you have this hypodermic needle theory effect, where is like when you shoot a message, it pierces so well. People tend to think like it's a one-way communication. People tend to believe what they hear from a particular medium is true, because they have no other way to source the information or check for the fact check of information, because the only source of information is from one. So they tend to believe what is told is true. So basically the theorists were interested to understand, does media play a role in propagating war, or whether it is used as a persuasive communication. So a lot of theorists during that time, World War I, were interested in the role of media and how does it you know uh, affect the people or the users. The second contributor to the development of mass media research was in 1950s and 1960s, that research data are useful for developing ways to persuade potential customers to buy products and services. So if you look at here, the target, the people who were the stakeholders were advertisers. They were interested to sell their product, because they knew that they need to market their product, and they know their customers are everywhere. So they wanted to identify a medium so where they can persuade their customers to buy their services. So they wanted to know which is a better medium. So media studies were conducted on lot message effectiveness, demography, size of the audience, role of advertising in achieving the higher degree of acceptance, frequency of the message, how to persuade customers, selection of media. These all became, mainly the purpose of the study, and also the details about which is the most effective medium in communicating a particular product. So media selection became an important aspect. So this is another factor which led to the growth of mass media research. Then the effects of mass media research. The third contributing social force was the increasing interest in the effects. Several studies focused on the effects of the media on public, including the effects on children. As I told you previously, violence and how does it affect children. So many investigations relating to violence and sexual content in television program came under this category. They felt these contents were misleading the young, misleading the youth. So some of the content need revision or relooking. So researchers also studied the both positive and the pro-social effects of this content in the medium. So negative and antisocial effects of television all came under the purview of the this particular area. So the third main contributing is how does it affect a larger mass audience. The fourth was the competition among different media for the audience share and the advertisers' revenue that led to the growth of research. So now media research has grown to be highly sophisticated. It utilizes long range plans. So research in this way is a tool in the management by objective process. There is increasing dependency on the data to support the decision making process here. Due to a lot of media companies, lot of media houses in different, you know, like let it be newspapers, magazine, television, radio, or whatever, there's a competition of which is the best medium. So there is a lot of data war, like the number one or the most circulated newspaper, most viewed television channel, most listened radio station. So here every program also seek relevant search data to develop the creative side of the program. So they started, in order to have become the number one medium, they started also looking at how different they can create content to have more audience, gluing to their own medium, and also that indirectly help them to have larger audience as viewers, which increase their rating points, where slowly you find the advertisers coming in, you know also, ad revenue pouring in. So it had its own, different benefits. So that also led to the growth of mass media research. So this is what the four factors we were looking at: world war, interest of advertisements in selling their product; third one, the effects of the medium; and fourth, the competition among the different medium. So this particular is taken from Wimmer and Dominic, who have a very good book on mass media research. So you can refer this book for further reading. A lot of interesting facts about media research and concepts and processes of mass media research is beautifully told in this book. Now let's look into the differences between media research and social research, how they are different. So different between media research and social science research are in fact one way of looking at two related phenomena, namely society and media. Like social research looks into society, whereas media research looks into the media. So both rely on careful systematic collection and analysis of data. Both strive for objectivity while recognizing the importance of personal interpretation by experienced professionals in the perspective field, whichever the respective field. Most often they employ the same method for gathering and analysis. If you look at the methodology, it had the same method, it employs the same method. The real differences lies in the purpose. Media research aims at keeping the public informed about the events deemed important by them. On the contrary, social scientists are interested in understanding and explaining human social behavior. Their focus is on grasping how social institutions, including mass media institutions, function in actual terms. Some social scientists are more concerned with practical problem rather than developing an abstract theoretical understanding. Both are interested in generating a knowledge. Primary goal of media research is to communicate that knowledge. So media research both reflects and helps shape the perception of the appropriate roles of media professionals, media institutions, groups, and public figures. It also teaches what issues are important. It provides us with adequate information to form opinions. So influence of media on modern society is very powerful, but it is not one way. Social science research also affects the mass media and media organization, particularly in contexts like social values, cultural legacies. Social science research can also help in understanding how different governments are influencing the media. Other important areas covered on how media influence our thinking, what role they play in everyday life, and how much media institutions vary from society to society. So these are some of the important, meaningful areas of mass media research. Method used to study media research has been borrowed from social science like sociology, psychology, anthropology, and etc. We also have empirical methods widely used in economics are very much also used in today's media research. So this is just to give you an understanding to know how is it different from media research to social research. I hope the session was clear and you understood the session. So if you have any doubts and clarification, feel free to get back to me. Also, you can post your questions in the feedback session. And also there are the textbooks for further reading, and some of the references are in the module. Kindly go through it for better understanding.
Thank you. Hope this session was useful. If you have any doubts and clarification, kindly put your inputs in the feedback box. And also there are reading material posted in the same module for further reading. Kindly go through it. Have a great day.